Hello, my most amazing art students. Today we're going to talk about the painting The Horse Fair by Rosa Bonheur. This painting was painted in 1853, and a little background on it, which is kind of cool. Rosa Bonheur was a woman, and women at that time in a place like this would have been very conspicuous, which means that they would have stood out. So she actually applied to the police department or police of that area for a permit to wear men's clothing, which I find so interesting. So she applied for this permit to wear men's clothing so that she could be out here and take sketches of the horses. She would go every weekend to the horse fair and sketch and paint, and she didn't want the attention that she would have gotten if people had noticed that she was a woman in a dress, and so she dressed in male clothing. And so that's just kind of a little backdrop. This painting, I'm going to go through the questions that I put out to you, that I typed out on the lesson. What is happening here? We know the title of the work is called The Horse Fair. So if we look closely at what's going on, we have horses that are obviously done up, cleaned. Their tails are put up so that they don't get muck and mire on them. There's a bunch of them all there together. There are men that are walking them around, and there are some spectators that we see, up here on the hillside watching, but a bunch of people all together. Some are being ridden, but these are the upper class, the upper crust of the horses. Obviously, well-muscled horses, not really old, very strong, sturdy horses. So this is where people would take their horses to the market, basically, to be shown and to be sold. And the handlers, the horse handlers, they're making sure that the horses stay in line. So that's just kind of what's going on. I'm not sure what else you guys might have noticed. You could always comment to me. I'm going to open up the comment section so that you can put any answers that I might not cover and write them to me. So we want to talk about lines in artwork. I said this is a great example of figure and ground because in the front we have these figures of these horses, right, and these people, and in the background we have this kind of like just trees, pretty plain, not much going on. So we have figures on a ground, but we also have lines that really direct our eyes. So what kinds of lines are the most prominent in this painting? So we have these diagonal lines that we see from the horse's legs, right? Those are some of the most prominent lines. Even like the tree line goes diagonally down, kind of keeps your eye, it closes off the back end of the painting here and keeps your eye in this area. We have the men's bodies are upright, and we have straight lines of that. So just all of these diagonal lines show a lot of movement. So these dynamic diagonal lines kind of show that this isn't just a stationary painting, like the horses aren't just standing there. We see a lot of movement. And the next question is, what shape is made by these horses? And I keep doing this with my finger because you can tell that the horses start out and that they're facing away from you by the time we get over here, so that they're going in a circle. Okay. And next, how did Rosa emphasize this circular motion? What did she do with color, which is another element of art, right? What did she do with color in order to show that it was circular? Well, she started out with light, and then dark, and then light, and then dark over here again. So she used color to kind of draw your eye around in that circular pattern. Light to dark to light to dark, light to dark to light to dark. Kind of like a kaleidoscope or a carousel. You know how they have the different panels, which is also a circular motion, right? The carousel. One of the questions I want you guys to answer and write to me is, how does this painting make you feel? You'll be able to look at the painting. I'll post a picture of it in the lesson, and you can look at it and tell me how, like, what feeling does this painting produce for you? I kind of feel like a little bit worried about, like, intense about what's going on. Like, this horse is rearing up, and this one's even rearing up. This guy's kind of falling back here. I don't know. Some people might find this exciting, but for me, I'm just a little worried. I kind of feel like, oh, some people might be in danger here. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of activity. But how does this painting make you feel? One of the other interesting things about this, I'm going to try to bring it up really close here, is that, and I don't know if it'll focus on that horse's eye, but interestingly enough, in paintings really before her time, painters would do this thing where they would make animals look almost human in a way, and we will study later on a painting that, The Peaceful Kingdom, where the artist does that. Instead of making it look like what a horse's eye looks like, they make them look more humanistic so that we have a connection to them. But this, Rosa Bonheur actually paints them as they are, as they really look in real life, which is interesting. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is how big this painting is in real life. What would your guess be? I will post a picture, a small picture at the bottom that kind of shows a reference point. But this picture, this painting, it's an oil painting on canvas, is quite large. It is 16 feet long, all the way across, 16 feet. Now, that is more than, well, about 3 of me. Like, if I lay down and there are 3 of me laying down, that's how big across this painting would be. It's quite grand, and if you want to see it, it exists, it lives in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, and you can go look at it there. So, and kind of be in awe at how much work she did to create this painting. It's quite amazing that she worked from sketches to create this, and later on in her life, she actually painted a smaller version of this painting, which she liked better. It was about half the size, so only about 8 feet across. Imagine the things that you could do with your time, right, if you just put your mind to it. Thanks for joining me today. Next week, we will be working on another painting that is figure and ground, and we're going to do a drawing based off of that painting. But we'll talk about some of the same things, the use of light and darkness, and kind of shows the movement in a painting. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.